Superstars Deep Dive continues today on the channel, Series 16. Welcome everyone, Kyle here, back again. As you guys all know by now, we're working our way through it all. Here it is, Jakks Classic Superstars Series 16. We have been going through these every Tuesday, set by set, taking a peek, taking a look, going through all 1 through 28 of the single-carded series. Then we'll get into the tag teams, the limited edition, the 3-packs, the one-offs, the 1-of-100s, the title belts, the rings, you name it. We're going to do it all, as you guys know. But today, it's Classic Superstars 16. Another heavy hitter set, but a smaller set than we've been accustomed to from the last few. You know, we had 10, 11, 12 in a set. This one's an 8-person set. 9, we'll get to that, why I call it 9. We'll talk about that a little bit when we get to it. But I figured we'd start it off today. Let's start it off with Vince McMahon. That's a pretty good one to start on, I would say. Let's take a peek. There's Vince, gray jacket, blue tie, classic WWF inspired logo there on his lapel. I love this figure. I remember seeing this one announced back in the day, and this is one of the ones I was the most excited for. This one gave me a lot of feels back to the old LJN, red coat Vince McMahon. As you guys know, during this time, Vince was a heavy feature on WWE programming. You know, he wrestled. It was a far cry from this Vince McMahon that I remember as a kid. So I was really happy to get this. You know, we had a Gorilla Monsoon. We've had a Bobby Heenan. We had a Mean Gene Okerlund. There was a few other figures, and we needed a Vince McMahon from that era, and they gave it to us. Recently, Mattel has given us one very similar. I don't know which one I prefer. Mattel's great because it's kind of updated, but this one, there's something about it. I love the head scan on this one compared to the Mattel. You can see he comes with his patented headphones. These are the headphones that Vince had since the day he started, way back in the WWF. And he had these all the way up until he gave up commentary on Raw and went on to everything else he did. So those are some fancy headphones. I know he called Jakks specifically and said, I want this model represented with my figure. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I'd have to be fact-checked, but that's what I heard. But there it is. I really like the pants, too, on this one. This is just an all-around great figure. You need all the wrestlers you can get, but you need supporting characters like announcers, managers, commissioners, you name it. Vince McMahon on the side there. There's the old glamour shot we love so much. And there is the back. You know, it's really cool, the blue tie. It's kind of a whitish gray jacket on here. It would have been really cool if they would have given us the throwback LJN red jacket, or maybe like a salmon pink jacket. I don't know why they didn't. Also comes with a microphone, just fitting. Why wouldn't he come with a microphone? Weight, 248 pounds, 6'2", titles, WWE Champion, Royal Rumble winner. Would have been better if they would have put some like, hey, owner of the WWE, or announce... do the you know, blurb about his announcing time. Do it about that. Hey, longtime announcer of Superstars and Saturday Night's Main Event with his partner Jesse Ventura. Could have done something like that, but they didn't. The back, looking at the prototype, I see no differences from the actual figure. So there you go. But a really good one, and I say it a lot, but this is a must-have in the line. I think you need this classic announcer Vince in your heavy hitter lineup. That is for sure. You're not going to change my mind. So, let's look at the next one. All right, next up in Classic Superstars Series 16 is another favorite of mine. I got so many favorites. What do I do? It's like picking between your children, which is, you know, not easy to do. But here it is, the Powers of Pain, the Barbarian, the Warlord. Two of my absolute favorites. I remember when they came to the WWF back in the day. That was really right when I was really getting deep into wrestling. And I remember saying, oh my gosh, look at these guys. Look how big they are. They're just like the Road Warriors. I didn't get to see them prior in NWA. But I love face-painted wrestlers. I love big wrestlers. I love tag teams. This hits me in everything I want out of my wrestling figures. And hopefully one day we'll get these two from Mattel. Or if Jazzwares does a classics line, we can get them through them. I would absolutely love a Powers of Pain. And a little Easter egg, down the series hole we go. We're going to get a matching Mr. Fuji that'll go along with these, or Demolition, whatever you want to say. He's got face paint too, but we'll talk about that when we get to him. But let's look at the Barbarian first. He comes with his patented axe. I think we all know that the Barbarian was a legit axesmith. He would throw axes, back before that was a thing in bars and stuff. He would do that just for fun in the back, and I think that's why the axe came along to be represented. I could be wrong on that. Somebody fact check me, but I'm pretty sure that's why it's there. You got his name on the side, name on the other, face painted glamour shot on the other side. There's the back. I don't believe any changes from the prototype, but man, just another amazing head scan on this one. The blue really pops with the mean face, the beard. Hard to see probably, but man, they did a really great job on a lot of these, and these two included. Debuted in 1980. I don't know if that's true or not. I guess probably is. He got a jump start on our boy the Warlord, and we'll get to him next. Weight, 290 pounds, 6'2", the finishing move, the high kick. As we all know, this is Powers of Pain Barbarian. We do get another Barbarian from his singles run down the line here a little bit, but really cool to get the Powers of Pain. That's one that I would love to see a modern update of, that is for sure. Now we're going to talk about Warlord, my favorite member of the Powers of Pain. Also my dad's favorite wrestler. A little Easter egg there for you. Now, Warlord came with an axe as well, which is kind of weird. His is black, so he got a brown one, Warlord got a black one. This was actually an axe that belonged to the Barbarian. But back in the day, if you guys remember the 80s, going to airports and traveling was a lot easier than it is now, but you still could only carry one axe on a plane at a time. They wouldn't allow you, hey, you can't carry all these axes on a plane. So, Warlord being a good tag team partner, like a tag team partner should be, a good friend, he would carry one axe, oh, it's for me, and he lugged this around for his buddy, the Barbarian. Amazing, amazing man, the selflessness of the Warlord, just a great guy all around. You guys fact check that one too. I'm pretty sure it's correct. But there's the Warlord. Matches the Barbarian like we'd want it to. We'd hate to see an LOD Series 9 situation with these two, but nope, they knocked it out of the park perfect. Debuted 1986. Weight 320 pounds. He was always a big dude. 6'6". Clothesline is his finishing move. My dad always said if this was 100% on the up and up, Warlord would kill everybody. And maybe he would. He could probably squeeze us all to death. Warlord on the side. Yep. There's the glamour shot picture I love so much. And there's the back. Another great, great figure. Obviously, a lot of people said, oh, these are poor man's LOD Road Warriors. To me, they weren't. They were just another big, bad tag team that I really enjoyed. That love to carry axes on planes. So there it is. There's the Powers of Pain. Let's see who we got next. All right, next up is Psycho Sid. Probably my least favorite in this lineup of Classic Superstars Series 16 for a few reasons. But let's look at him first. There is Sid. Came with his vest, came with his elbow pad, came with the title belt, but came with no knee pads. It just looks so strange to me without those knee pads. I do believe there is a variant out there that did come with the knee pads. Like I said, a lot of these later series like this, and I count basically 15 through 28 being a later series, I picked these up from Ringside Collectibles. Distribution was getting harder and harder to find on these, but I do remember this Sid being on the shelf back in the day. But some of these just, my Toys R Us, they might get one case and that was it. A far cry from the maybe 5 cases of previous series. So I don't know if that was a lack of sales or sometimes, as toy lines go on and they rage on. I always think of He-Man. We think back to He-Man. If some of you guys bought He-Man, everybody had He-Man and Teela and Man-at-Arms, Beastman, Skeletor, some of the earlier stuff. Well, as you guys know, as the line goes on, there was deeper cuts of characters. And a lot of those later He-Man releases, people didn't even know existed. They were like, holy cow, I never even saw those. Because they stopped selling as well. Retailers would order fewer and fewer cases. And I do think around 15, 16, while Classic Superstars line was still very popular, still word of mouth to a lot of hardcore wrestling collectors, I do think the amount of volume that was being shifted to retail was slowly dwindling down. And that is why I went to Ringside Collectibles from then on, basically, for most of my needs. I would find loose ones that I was going to open out at retail. So there you go. That's kind of my explanation. That's the way I saw it at the time. But the Sid figure, big miss, and I always felt he was way too short. Sid's a big dude. This figure is too short, too big a head. It just did not work for me. Psycho Sid on the side. I do like the head scan, though. The head sculpt, or whatever you want to call it, pretty good. There's the back. Let's read what it says here. Psycho Sid debuted 1987, 317 pounds, 6'9", the Power Bomb. Titles: WWE Champion, WCW Champion, United States Champion. Sid was a big dude. I remember first seeing Sid as the Skyscrapers as a kid. That was my first introduction to Sid. I remember just thinking, wow, this is great. You guys know I love those big tag teams, and that was a big tag team with him and Dan Spivey. Later, Mark Calloway, as we all know, as The Undertaker, was added to the group. But loved Sid back then. Kind of lost him when he first went to the WWE. Just didn't do anything for me. Even his time there, and then he went back to WCW. Basically, my Sid times that Skyscraper time. That's when I thought he was the coolest. And when he was a part of the Horsemen, that's when I enjoyed Sid the most. But and like I said, probably my least favorite in Classic Superstars Series 16. That would be this Sid figure. But let's talk about one I really like. All right, here we go. Now this is one of the defining figures of the Classic Superstars line for me. One of my all-time favorite Classic Superstars. Put a gun to my head. Kyle, which one's your favorite? Some days this might actually be my favorite Classic Superstar. You guys know I say it all the time. I love face-painted wrestlers. I love giants. I love the big ones. And it doesn't get much bigger than this giant Gonzalez figure. I love, love, love how big this figure is. I wish we could get one from Mattel. We need more giants. And I just absolutely love the look of this figure. Say what you want about Giant Gonzalez. I know he wasn't a good wrestler, but just the awe and the spectacle of him walking out, even back to when he was Elegante. Just to see a 7'7" guy wrestling, and then, you know, the craziness of this costume really sets it off. So there it is. Look at it there. As you guys remember, the costume had painted on muscles and everything like that. There's Giant Gonzalez on the side. There he is on the other side. Take a little peek there on the back. I believe prototype's pretty much the way all of these went, except for the Sid. You know, they showed the Sid with the knee pads, which he didn't come with, but then he later did. But I do love this Giant Gonzalez. Series 16 at the top. Forgot to show that earlier. You got that in there. But old Giant Gonzalez came with the ring bell. A lot of people don't know this about Giant Gonzalez. There's a lot of story times in this Classic Superstar series, apparently. A lot of people don't know that, that just wasn't working out. He just couldn't wrestle. His knees were shot. They were going to get rid of him. So what did? They said, we need to keep this guy on the payroll. He's got to be good for something. And you know what they did? They found the ring bell. And they said, Mark Eaton, the timekeeper, he might be leaving. We got to have a backup. Mark might get the flu. He might be sick. We need a backup ring bell keeper. And who did they look to? They looked to Giant Gonzalez. They said, Giant, here's this ring bell. Take this with you and practice. Get the momentum down. Get that ding, ding, ding right the way it should. You practice. You come back to the next show. You show us what you've learned and how you've got it. And unfortunately, Jorge, big old Giant Gonzalez, he couldn't figure it out. He just couldn't get that ring bell, the right rhythm. You know what rhythm I'm talking about. You need that right ding, ding, ding. Or when the bad guy's beating up the good guys and you got to really pound on that thing. He just could not get that down. But it was such a great story, and they were so nice to him. They said, hey, let's put that ring bell. It was a really big part of his career that a lot of people didn't know about. I could be totally wrong. Somebody fact check me on that one. But I absolutely love this Giant Gonzalez nonetheless. And wait, there's more. As the old Billy Mays, we all remember Billy Mays, the great pitchman. He said, but wait, there's more. We got another Giant Gonzalez. And this one is hot off the presses. I passed on this one back in the day. I said, I have no reason to get this. But then, just this week, it was a little case of figure fate because I knew this video was coming up and this came up at a hot price. I said, I should just pull the trigger and get it. And that's what I did. This is the Giant Gonzalez Real Fur Edition. So check that out on his arms and his tights. there is fur. I don't know if it's actually real fur, but it's fur compared to non-furred edition. And I don't know if it even picks up in the camera. It's pretty hard to see. There it is right there. You can kind of compare the two. This one being the fur one. I don't know. Not a good enough variant to me. I think they could have done even more fur. I would have loved to have seen a little bit more. But I guess it's cool for a variant. If variants and chases are your thing. It's a really weird one because I don't remember hearing when this set came out. I don't remember seeing people saying, "Oh, I found a real fur version." I just don't remember any of that. It seemed like it was many years later that the fur was kind of revealed to the world, and I could be totally off. Maybe I was living under a rock. I don't know. But I remember first seeing this, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, that's not a thing. That's a custom." They didn't really do it. Well, apparently they did do. I don't know if they ever announced how many were really made. I don't think they were randomly put in, but this is one of those variant errors, not like the Sid. We talked about the Sid earlier with the knee pad mistake. That's a simple mess up from the factory. The first wave went through, they didn't catch it, they stopped production. Okay, put the knee pads on him. Putting fur, that's like a calculated effort. That's a move that they had to do. So I don't know if it was like, hey, the last 150 we're going to do, the last 500, put this real fur on there. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever seen the answer to that question. If you guys do know, leave me a comment. I'd love to know how many fur were made and what the reasoning was for that. If it was just, hey, it's a cool thing for collectors, and it is. It is a cool thing. Doesn't get me really worked up, but like I said, I saw it at a good price. You know me, I got to get a deal. I couldn't pass it up. I knew this set was coming up. I said I might as well just get it. It'll work in the video, and it'll work good in my collection. As I've picked up some of these little variants, like that Paul Bearer bow tie figure, the classic Stone Cold and the LJN inspired both versions. I've picked up some of these weird kind of variants that are out there just recently. Going through these videos kind of made my mind wander for that stuff. But really cool. Like I said, this is one of my all-time favorite figures ever of any line. I love a giant figure. We need more giants. Happy to have two in my collection. So there it is, Giant Gonzalez, and what a ring bell story. He'd ring that bell. I just couldn't get it quite down. It's a lot harder than you think it is, guys. Let's move on to the next one. All right, next is one we've showed before, the LJN-inspired Shawn Michaels. When we did the LJN deep dive of all the LJN figures, we talked about this one, so we won't have to spend a ton of time on it. But there he is, HBK, in ring gear, one of the heavier LJN-inspired figures. This is a heavy package, where some of the other ones are a little bit lighter. There it is, Shawn Michaels on the side. On the side. Of course, the back there. We saw Shawn Michaels in the last Class Superstars series, and it looks like they took the same bio, because we all learned last week, I think we all learned together, that Shawn Michaels debuted in 1965. The Beatles were sweeping the United States. Vietnam War was about ready to start. It was just a golden age for America, and that's when Shawn Michaels said, you know what, I'm pulling the tights up. I'm headed to the ring, 1965. Or that quite possibly could have been the year he was born. So maybe that is his debut. The day he was born was quite the debut. So I don't know. 225 pounds, 6'1". Finishing move, the Sweet Chin Music. Titles, WWE Champion, World Heavyweight Champion. 1995 and 96 Royal Rumble winner. Intercontinental Champion and World Tag Team Champion. So there you go. I believe also European Champion should be in here. There's some misses. But there's the backing, of course. There's the whole lineup below. No changes to the prototype. These are what they are to me. I've said it before. I always found these to be kind of a waste of space in the line. If they really wanted to do these, make a subset, make a sub-figure line like they did with Stomp back in the day, or Camo Carnage. Make a LJN-inspired line, have 2 series of them, call it good. Don't waste our Classic Superstar spots. We could have got different incarnation of wrestlers, maybe another deep cut wrestler. We talk about the Johnny Rods of the world, the Zeuses. We could have got more like that. Maybe a gobbledygooker, which Mattel's threatened before. We could have got something like that instead of these. Nothing really wrong with these. I actually like them more now than I did back in the day, but I would have loved to have seen these spots open for a traditional wrestler and put these in a sub-series somewhere. Call it Classic Superstars, LJN Inspired, another Class Superstar set. I would have been totally fine. Just don't put it in the main set. But no change in history. I haven't found that time machine yet. When I do, that'll be the first thing I change in the world. I'm going to go fix it and right that wrong once my time machine goes through. But here it is, HBK Shawn Michaels. Let's look at the next one. All right, next we got a sleeper in the set, X-Pac. You know, X-Pac is one at the time, felt kind of weird getting a classic superstar, but it really shouldn't have. 1, 2, 3 Kid, X-Pac, I don't know if he was the most popular wrestler ever, but, being in the NWO, being in the WWF as the Lightning Kid, being in Degeneration X, he definitely deserved a spot somewhere for both incarnations, and we did get both incarnations of his characters. So here's X-Pac in this line, in this full-on DX gear. I don't mind this figure. A little tall, where we talked earlier about Sid being way too short, X-Pac way too tall. So you can see there, but I do love that head scan. The tongue sticking out like that, I think it looks really good. A great head sculpt on this one. X-Pac on the side. There's the glamour shot. You can see that tongue even better. An inherently good figure for the most part. Say what you want about X-Pac. I know he's a little polarizing for some people, but I do like this figure. It was kind of the sleeper and kind of the forgotten one of this series, I always thought. Maybe that's just me. Let's read it here. Debuted 1988, 212 pounds, 6 feet tall. Finishing move, the XFactor. Titles, World Tag Champion, European Champion, WWE Light Heavyweight Champion. So there it is. There's X-Pac. Comes with the tag... Was that tag team title? European title, it looks like. Yep. European title he comes with. These Jakks titles I thought were terrible. I never really liked these ones. However, they did do amazing. And we'll get to it when we get to the Deluxe Classic lineup. Those are some of the best titles to this day. I wish they came with those everywhere. You guys have probably seen a lot of those Deluxe Classic titles. They are absolutely amazing. And like I said, the best titles I feel anywhere. But there it is. There's the old X-Pac, not one that was really very hard to get. I didn't really see this line at the stores very often, but I do remember seeing Sid. I do remember seeing X-Pac. I remember seeing Vince McMahon. But that was about it. Everything else, in my area at least, pretty much went off the shelf pretty quick. And like I said, we didn't see a ton of this series on the shelves between Walmart, Target, and Toys R Us back in the day. So there you have it, X-Pac. All right, guys, time to close Series 16 out. Like I said, it's not one of these big, long, drawn-out sets, that's for sure, but a heavy hitter set. When you got 3 guys in face paint, you got a giant, you got Vince McMahon, what more could you want out of a set? And you guys know I love one face-painted wrestler more than others, and that is the Ultimate Warrior. Very happy to get another Ultimate Warrior. You guys know me. I'll take every single Ultimate Warrior they want to give me. And I love this Ultimate Warrior. This is an earlier Ultimate Warrior. It's not the super fancy articulated coats and stuff like we saw in other ones. But the basicness of this, I guess if that's the word, just the minimal color and the great face paint, the big hair. Absolutely love this Warrior figure. There he is on the side. Go there. And then the back, of course. The whole lineup. Nothing on the bottoms of these. Just clear window. Clear window on the top. I haven't done that in a few episodes. Not that anybody really asked for it, but let's read it here. 1985 debut, 275 pounds, 6'3", finishing move, the Warrior Splash. Titles, WWE Champion and Intercontinental Champion. Like I said, this one is a slam dunk, a sleeper Ultimate Warrior figure. We saw the Ultimate Warrior where he's kind of blowing. It looks like he's going to blow somebody's house down. I think that is the biggest sleeper Warrior figure that people forget about, but I think this one's right up there with it. It's not as iconic as the Series 1 Warrior and some of the other ones that we got, but a really cool Warrior, and like I said, one of my absolute favorites. So very, very happy to have a Warrior. Figured we'd end on a high note with the Ultimate Warrior. I didn't want to end on X-Pac or Sid, one of the ones I didn't like as much. But the Ultimate Warrior is one I absolutely love. And I have all these Ultimate Warriors on card, and I have them loose. I got to have both. So there you have it. Classic Superstars Series 16. We'll be back next week with Classic Superstars 17. It's crazy. I can count, and I can pull that out of my head just like that. But it's very exciting. This is a fun series to go through. We're dwindling down on the singles. We'll have to figure out what do we do next. We want to go with the tag teams, the 3-packs, the limited editions, the 1-of-100s, the ancillary sets. We'll have to see what we do next for Classic Superstars as we work our way through every single one. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Please like the video. Don't forget to comment. Let me know your thoughts, where you found these. Do you have any of these? Did you pass on these? Did you pick any up? Are you like me and you got a loose set and a in-card set on this one? I'm pretty sure I do. just let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Most importantly, turn those notifications on. Every Tuesday, I got a new Classic Superstars video as we delve through them all. So I appreciate every you guys watching, and I'll see you guys real soon.